Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the channel. By the time this video hits my channel, the Banquet event, as Kabam called it in 2022 and into the first days of 2023, will be over. And we will see the scores. We know that it takes over 6 figures worth of Greater Banquet crystals to get to the #1 spot. And that was a few days ago. You know, that number might have gone way higher in the last couple of days. It traditionally did, just as, like, say with Battlegrounds, sometimes people try to make a late season push. With this, the push is just opening more and buying more, right? That's the name of the game. I wanted to embrace this event. And I do think, to be fair, the best part of this event, by far, was the gifts that Kabam gave us in both the solo and alliance milestones for getting points. I have never seen a more brilliant and generous give back to the players than Kabam did this time. I was so impressed and so moved by the fact that so many people that can't afford Cyber Weekend, or I guess technically in 2022 Cyber Week, because it was 7 days, not 3, were able to push themselves to eventually get not just a ton of units back, right? Not just a Nexus crystal or more Greater Banquet crystals, or a 6-star basic worth of shards or more Greater Banquet crystals. Rank up items like Tier 2 alphas, more 6-star shards, Tier 5 basic, 6-star Nexus. But eventually, we saw a Tier 5 class catalyst selector. Remember, a year ago, that was like $100, right? And for some progressions, it still is $100. This was amazing, that fully formed Tier 3 alpha and the Tier 6 basic. Again, those are also normally like $100. Keep in mind, Paragon, the top progression level, for the daily card on Monday, it was $30, which got us each half of one if we bought it. Half of one. So, great. It's $60 for one fully formed of each. So if it's $60, that's like $60 worth of Paragon give backs for free if you had saved up the units, or at least for a very highly discounted price if you didn't and you bought units from the unit store. And then a 6-star generic awakening gem. Again, it is unheard of. I cannot say that enough. It is unheard of to get this in any milestone. And part of me hopes and prays, though I doubt those prayers will be answered, that we see this at least once in a side quest opportunity in 2023, especially with 7 stars coming. But, you know, one can hope. And then this is like, to me, it's still laughable. I opened this. I got nothing out of this. I think relics are, the best part of relics have nothing to do with the relic mechanic, but it's about like an added synergy and added bonus to the champion that you bind it with. But the actual bringing in of the champion into battle, like, I don't have the timing down at all. I'll be the first to admit. I'm a noob when it comes to that. And so I have actually lost fights trying to, like, bring in a relic because the AI is so fast from the defender that by the time I tap it, I'm not perfectly in rhythm, so they block it, and then they counter, and I think if I had just not tapped the relic in the first place, I would have easily won that fight. Now, is that user error? Probably. I'm out of practice. It's new to me. We haven't seen this, and they used to call it strikers, not relics, and so even the lingo feels a bit, a bit new. But the solo events, like, you would have thought that if I was working at Kabam, I would have done this the opposite. And so actually, Kabam did probably more generous than I would have expected because they want people in an alliance. The whole point of this event originally was to gift with your friends and alliance mates. And so, you know, when you look at the milestones for alliance, it is worth noting that, yeah, you've got some Tier 4 basic, but this feels like it's like a year or two before the solos. Tier 4 class catalysts, not as many Greater Banquet crystals, not as many units back. Yes, you get some Tier 5 basic. Yes, you get some 6-star shards. And these are all good, but you get the same 6-star Nexus. But until you get to the Abyss Nexus Crystal Selector, everything else is just like a worse version of the solo. That's not a criticism of Kabam. That's just saying they did amazing for both solo and alliance. Like, they made it all the best we've ever seen. And so this was the greatest thing that Kabam has ever done. And of course, they gave Paragon players, which I actually, for the first time in my channel's predictions, got something 100% right with no tip, no clue, no insight. It was just a hunch. I have gotten more wrong than right, and I'll be the first to admit that. And so don't think I'm saying that as some kind of ego boost. I just got lucky, I guess. But in the meantime, I just want this to be the future. This is how you keep players invested. You give them an incentive to buy units, an incentive to spend those units, but you also give them really good stuff in return. So Kabam, I will miss this aspect of the Banquet event. I still think you should change the word banquet to something better, because it does make me think of cheap frozen food items out of the grocery store aisles. But at the same time, give credit where credit is due. This was the best we've ever seen, and I think it was a great way to end 2022 and start 2023 as far as the milestone rewards for both solo and alliance events.